lesson is on circle constructions. It's meant to go with the performance task. Now note, the performance task has two parts. It has a part A and a part B. This lesson is going to help you fill out part A, and then you need to go back to part B and answer the questions and submit both parts together, or you can submit each one separately. In order to do this task, I highly recommend you use a compass and a sheet of paper. And then when you're done with the task, you can send me the pictures or you can scan them in as a PDF and attach it that way. If you want to do it on the computer, you can. Just make sure you know how to do screenshots to attach into the part A. And then remember, you still have to go to part B and answer the questions that go with it. So when you're using a compass, it's going to be important that whenever you open your compass, whatever you set it to, you're going to leave it at that width for the entire construction. You don't want to be opening and closing it because then your measurements aren't going to be accurate. I also want to point out this website for you to use. In this video, I'm only going to do the first two constructions with you. After that, you're on your own. But really, this website is a great help. And if you just type in this first part, this will take you to their main page, and then you can just scroll down and you'll see somewhere where it says constructions in their table of contents, and you can click it and it'll take you to this same place. So that website is going to have everything that you need in order to do the rest of the constructions. Most of the ones you need are going to be down at the bottom near where it says polygons. And this website will give you a step-by-step instruction for you to follow on your own paper. So let's go ahead and take a look at our first construction. Our first construction says construct a circle through 3 points not on a line using the construction tool. And then this is from the actual document. You can either put in a screenshot, or like I said, I recommend doing this on another piece of paper and doing all of them by hand, and then just leave a space underneath each one to answer the questions from part B. So here I have 3 dots. If I want to make a circle that goes through all 3 of them, we don't want to use just guess and check. I don't want to just go to a circle, plug in and put a random spot, and adjust my compass. If I do that, we're going to have a lot of guess and check to try and get my circle through all 3 points. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to go back to last semester where you did lines and perpendicular bisectors. So what you're going to do with your straight edge is you are going to go ahead and make lines connecting the dots. So I'm going to make a line segment here and a line segment here. Once we have our line segments, now we can find the perpendicular bisector of each. So I'm going to open my compass a little bit. I don't need it to be as wide as the line. Remember, we want it a little over half. And I'm going to go ahead and change my color so it's easier to see. Well, that didn't change to what I thought it was, but that's okay. So remember to do a perpendicular bisector. You make your marks on one side. You go to your vertex. Notice I don't change my width. And I put it on my other side. Then you would grab your straight edge. And I'm cheating by using a built-in straight edge here. And we're going to use our straight edge to go straight through both those points. And I'm going to go ahead and go longer just so I have enough room. Now I'm going to go ahead and repeat the process over here. Now it's okay to check. Make sure your compass is still a little over half. And then let's go ahead and make our marks again. There's that vertex. And let's go this way. There's that endpoint. And then one more time, we're going to use our straight edge. And we're going to go through our points. Let's make that red like its friend. And now what you're going to see is you're going to see that the perpendicular bisectors intersect right there at that point. And what happens is now I can go to that point. I can adjust my compass. I want to go to any one of those 3 points. See if I can get it to go. And I'm going to open so that when I'm on the center there, I'm also on one of the points. And now we test it out. And we have it going through all 3 points. Or just about. Mine's off a little just because of the computer. I can see right here my straight line didn't quite go straight. So let's try one more time. That's why it's really important to use a straight edge to make sure that you are perfectly straight. I messed that one up. Let's get it. That looks a little bit better. Let's try again. So let's line up with that point. There we go. We got it closer. So there is your circle that went through all 3 points. So again, the steps were I connected my dots to make 2 line segments. I found the perpendicular bisector of each line segment, and the point where they crossed, that became the center of my circle. And then it doesn't matter which point we line up with in the beginning, because remember, the center of a circle is equidistant from all points. So you could have chosen any of the 3 points to make your circle. And when you're done, I know it looks messy, and I know it's tempting that you want to just have a nice clean circle that looks like this. But in order for me to see that you did it correctly, I need to see all your construction marks so that I know that you followed the steps and didn't just draw a random circle. So let's look at the next one. The next one in the assignment asks you to construct an equilateral triangle inscribed in the circle. So here, first thing I have is I already have my circle drawn. Now what's cool about an equilateral triangle is it is also related to a hexagon construction. We're actually going to use the hexagon construction even though you haven't gotten to the hexagon problem yet. A hexagon construction is really easy. What you're going to do is you're going to put your compass on the center point and then put the pencil on the circle itself. And then what we're going to do is we are going to make a mark of where we're starting. Let me grab another color. Well, let me just make a random mark. So there's where we're going to start. So since that's where we're going to start, I'm going to leave my compass open the same width that it already was. We can't change it. And notice now I put my compass on that point that I created, and I'm going to make another construction mark. Now I'm going to come to that end point, bring my compass a little closer so it's not as big, make another mark. And we're just going to work our way around the circle until we've gone all the way around. And if you've done it correctly without opening up your compass, you're going to notice that eventually we hit right back where we started. And you did see me just move my compass a little bit on accident. And if you see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 crosses. To make the hexagon, we would use our straight edge and just connect each of those 6 points to make a hexagon. Since it wants an equilateral triangle, well, in an equilateral triangle, we know we have 3 vertices. So that means I'm just going to choose a point to start, and then we're going to skip a mark. So I started, I skipped, and I drew down my triangle for vertex 1. Then I went from that point, skipped a vertex, and went over here for point 2, and then skipped and connected back up to the beginning. And that is your triangle. Again, if you wanted a hexagon, we can just change the color here. A hexagon, instead of skipping a point, the hexagon would actually connect each point, giving you a beautiful equilateral hexagon. So remember, as you go through the remaining constructions, if you're doing them by hand, leave room underneath for part B to answer questions that they have, or if you're doing it on the computer, screenshot, put these in part A, and then make sure you go to part B and answer those questions too. If you don't send me both parts, then you can only get as much as half credit. Hopefully this has helped you. Remember, you can always reach out if you need more help.